Good morning, everyone. Happy week 4 of the Diamond Heart Project, the 16-week program we're together in. I just wanted to share with you today the teaching around the topic of today is power of intention, and the frequency is your currency, as well as the secret of gratitude. And I actually want to start with about the frequency is your currency. And to really understand, I've got a conversation in our integration call this week around talking about it wasn't so much of the result of the moment or the exchange that is the result of the moment or the completion or the end result. What's more important is how you show up in the moment. And that is the frequency that you carry, the energy, the vibration that's sitting in your system on a daily basis in a moment, in every single breath. And so the frequency being your currency is really understanding like what you're initiating or what you're calling forth and how you want to exchange with life in a conversation, in a moment with yourself, in a time of offering truth or teaching or just holding space for your own being. Any given interaction, just your entire relationship. Everything in life is relationship. Like, how do you relate to your water? How do you relate to your food? How do you relate to the breath? How does your kidneys relate to your liver? How do your organs relate to your stomach? Like, everything in life is relationship. And so the key of that is all about the frequency you step into with in the activation of that relationship. Like, what is your relationship with water? Are you thankful for it? Is it something you need? Is it something you're grateful to have? It's all a relationship. And so being able to tune into your state or your state of being in any given moment really responds by how the universe and you have a relationship and how your experience as a creator of your own life unfolds. And it's okay to have all different states of your being, whether it be a heated state or a space of peace or frustration. Anything that you walk into, it's more important to be able to acknowledge the state of being that you're in compared to wanting to change it. It's much more powerful, again, to be able to recognize the state of being in a given moment that you're in compared to wanting to shift it because maybe you're uncomfortable. And so the frequency is the currency. It's not always being about happy. It's not always being in this joyful state. It's a beautiful space to know that you can actually be in that space no matter what's happening outside of you, because you are free, you are full control of your own domain, energetically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Sometimes it's called to show up in a moment and be fierce and be direct, and offer your truth in a given moment, or be soft or gentle. But all of that stems from the frequency or the state that you're in. And so your frequency is your currency. Your frequency is what activates this exchange with life. And so it's the most important thing is being able to recognize the state that you're in a given moment. And it's okay for things to unfold the way they do always, as long as you know what state of being you're coming from. And that's being tuned in to the frequency you're carrying in the moment. And so in that same understanding is that, as we talk about the secret of gratitude, and gratitude isn't just about being thankful. Like, people really, really condense it down to being thankful for something, which is beautiful, and it's the highest frequency. And the reason why gratitude is the highest frequency is because it's the extension of trust. Coming back again to that universal foundation law we've been talking about, is that everything in your life is happening for you, never to you, never against you. So when you're constant gratitude for that exchange or for that understanding or that experience that's presenting itself, no matter how challenging it is or how blissful it is, you're grateful for it. And the gratitude of that moment allows you to trust what's happening for you. And so unconditional love, trust, gratitude, it's all the same frequency. And no matter what type of description you want to give to it, But that's the secret. It's about being able to walk into that space we've been talking about since the beginning, that state of neutrality and curiosity with gratitude around, I know this is happening for me. Let me see what unfolds from this. And you can stay in that space of neutrality and curiosity by being in a space of gratitude. Like, thankful for this. I'm thankful for this. And whether you need to stay it as a mantra to yourself or just be in that state, but overall your system will begin to get used to being in that space of gratitude. And even in the most challenging moments, blissful moments, things that look really challenging or you're experiencing, or emotions that are challenging to feel, knowing that it's happening for your own evolution allows you to see kind of beyond the horizon, allows you to see like the gift of what's coming from that experience by being gratitude for it. Now, this is not about spiritual bypassing and just being like, oh, I'm grateful for everything. Like, yes, we're grateful for everything, but in a space of neutrality doesn't mean you have to show this incredible act of gratefulness, which is wonderful. And there are many times in my morning runs where I'm leaping in the air and thanking God, thanking Source and Spirit for my life in so many ways. But it's not just about that moment in my run. It's about being able to like embrace that frequency of gratitude. Again, because it extends some trust. And trust is the corner key of the universe. Knowing your life is always happening for you, never to you, never against you. And so that trust allows you to really access gratitude for everything that shows up in your life. That's the secret around the gratitude. And the gratitude allows more to come forth because the universe hears, oh, you're grateful for this. Well, let's give you more of that. And it's such a dynamic and beautiful relationship and exchange of how you can navigate life. So again, remember the foundation is the currency. Your frequency is your currency, and it's okay to recognize spaces when you might be feeling fear, or you might be feeling doubt, or other lower frequencies. Know that doubt, worry, fear, all these things are of a lower frequency. Okay, so it isn't about like a choice between left or right or duality of this or that. It's more about elevating your frequency to be in a higher state of trust, unconditional love, gratitude, these kind of things, compared to lower frequencies of things like worry, doubt, and fear. And in the society, it's fear is pushed, and it's pushed to keep you in a lower resonance of yourself. Whether you're looking on media, social media, TV media, these things are offered in a lower frequency, right? There's a reason why news only tells you about the 10 drastic moments that happened today. They didn't talk about the other 100 moments of gratitude and miraculous moments that people had. And so it's our responsibility to learn how to stay in this state, the frequency of gratitude, because again, that is your currency of how you change your perception of how you see life and how you see beyond just what's happening in front of you. There's so many incredible things around the quantum field that are always shifting and changing and moving around, responding to the frequency of how you step into the next moment. And that next moment unfolds based on the frequency you're carrying and how you walk into it. That is the most important thing, as I talked about earlier. More important than the result of the moment is how you walk into it. And so by having these practices, you're able to step deeper in these frequencies. You're able to tap into them because it's your natural state of being. So whether it's your chanting practice or meditation practice or yoga practice or qigong practice, like all the things are helping you center in your own state. And your own state is naturally gratitude. It's naturally a thankfulness. It's naturally a state of unconditional love that you can experience and really plug into in your practices and then carry into your day. So we talked about last week around the power of the moment, and we're talking about this week, but the fact is like what that state of your being, that first hour that you wake up, you're still in that higher conscious state that you've been connecting to your entire dream time because the DMT released in your system. And so we drop into our practice, and the first thing in the morning, it allows us to kind of take hold of that and really kind of capsulate it or capture it and use that frequency to fill our well. So when we walk into the world, we're walking into the day full, and we're only there to give into every moment, whether it be a word, an action, or hold space into every experience we walk into. And the universe molds again to that frequency you're carrying and presents the opportunities or experiences based on the frequency you're holding. So that's the beauty of all this. That's the beauty of these sacred practices. That's why it's finding what works for you and how you connect to this deeper space within yourself. And in that space of connection is your intuitive sense. It is your connection to your heart. It is the wisdom, the understanding, the clarity. All the things you're seeking for in your daily life are there. And you access them on a daily basis or every moment based on the frequency you're carrying. That's why when you walk out your practices, you feel so tuned in or connected, or you just seem like nothing is bothering you as it would maybe the day before. Because you're connecting to that higher frequency of trust, unconditional love, gratitude. It's all the same frequency. And so then we come into the action part, the power of intention, setting your intention for the moment or the day or any given experience. You know, as we walk into these ceremony experiences we've had together, like we have a moment in the beginning where we set our intentions because you're calling into existence. Remember, the core of our being is made of two things. One is light and one is sound. They're really the same thing. It's all about frequency. And that's, again, a whole other conversation. So the power of intention, you speak into existence by setting that intention. And when you become really feeling that tuned in state of being, you don't have to speak it. You just, by having the thought process of it, you're calling it in. But I always want to invoke people to begin to learn how to speak their intentions, whether it be in your car by yourself, practicing or sitting in your bed, or whatever it is. You begin to call in that intention by speaking into existence. Because when you speak, you're sending out a frequency, you're sending out a vibration. It doesn't matter what words you use, because the universe speaks in all languages. It matters on the frequency you carry when you state that intention. And so we use words, right? We have languages. Other parts of the cosmos don't have languages. They have different ways of communicating. Either way, it doesn't really matter what language you speak in. It matters on what you state and what you call in. So you set these power of intentions. And everything in my life has an intention. Like, what is my intention today with my son? What is our intention to do this? And it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out 15-minute process. You have an intention when you do something. Like, when I go pour my water, my intention is to hydrate myself, right? Take care of my temple where my soul resides, so I can have an elevated experience of life that day, or that moment, by being hydrated and being able to feel the energy frequencies exchange in my body and through my being, because we're 80% water, right? And so the more hydrated we feel, the more our cells can exchange energy through the process of life. And so it just all comes back to the power of intention. So have these intentions, it doesn't have to be some huge life-changing intention every moment. It can be soft intentions, like I want to hydrate my body. So what is my body calling for right now? Is it calling for a juice, a green juice? Is it calling for some alkaline water? Is it calling for something? Am I calling for no water in this moment, right? When I eat my food, what's my intention? Like, what kind of nutrients does my body need right now, compared to beyond the desire of like, ooh, I want something. Like, sweets are great for you as long as you do them in the right way. The point is, it doesn't have to be an indulgence. Like, whether you're feeding your food, drinking your water, your breath. Like, what is my intention for the breath? Just know, like, even on the inhale of the exchange of oxygen is the gift of life. And your exhale is what you do with it. Is your thankfulness for the gift of life on what you do with the exhale. Again, the gift is the inhale. The action is the exhale. Like, what do you give with that beautiful gift of life you just received on the inhale? What do you give back to life with the exhale? And so everything, again, in life is a relationship. And so these fundamental parts of how we relate to life is God, source, creation. All of that is flowing through you. It's not some man in a cloud. We're not praying to something outside of ourselves, some outside deity. We're honoring that space within ourselves, that source of creation that we are. And that's the place we're giving gratitude for. I was guided to begin to teach a workshop and wonder why do we always look up to the sky when we honor the source or God? Why we point to something outside of ourselves when all of that is within ourselves? Get a whole other conversation. But the point is getting back to the power of intention is like it's just begin to practice the power of intention around setting these minor intentions, major intentions around your exchange of life in the moment, like amplifying your relationship to life, which is amplifying your relationship to yourself by setting intentions. There's so much power in intention. It's about speaking into existence what you want to experience is setting an intention. And then again, knowing that our frequency is our currency, and then having the secret of gratitude activates that full exchange. And just remember, we're in this web and flow of these energy flows. It looks like the ocean if you were to see these energy patterns constantly moving, and they form to your call. They form to your intention around these moments. And your words are very important, like how you speak to yourself and how do you speak to life, like what words come out of your mouth. So practice that this week, and if you have any questions, talk about it on the integration call. But hopefully that helps give you some clarity around these. These are such very deep topics, deeper than I can explain in a 20-minute video. But hopefully this invokes some questions and some clarity around maybe some conversations we can have this week on integration calls. Blessings to all of you. Have a beautiful day. Mahalo.